Hey everybody, we have a fun video for you today. This one addresses different toys you can use for those who are on the autism spectrum. And the first one isn't on the list, but I do want to point it out because it is a very popular thing and you've probably seen them. They are fidget spinners or fidget cubes or any other kind of fidget toy device. We've had ones that had little game controllers. They look like game controllers and the kids can play with those and fidget with those. So there's a lot of great options out there. Along with fidget toys, another thing you can do is take the batteries out of an old remote control and just have them play with the old remote control. It makes a great fidget device. Anything that they can fidget with is a really great idea to keep them quiet. And speaking of keeping them quiet, you're gonna see a lot of the footage here is them at the church, my boys at church. In our faith, we need to keep things a little bit quiet, a little bit reverent. I do acknowledge that there's other churches that have, rock music playing and stuff like that. But in our faith, we try to keep things a little bit more reverent and peaceful. And it's been really helpful to have these toys to just keep them kind of quiet. So yeah, as we go into the Christmas season, and honestly, any other time of year, these are great gift ideas. So the first one I want to point out to you is this little foam noodle here. And these are really great. I think it's made out of foam. I'm not really sure, some kind of synthetic, but basically they can do all kinds of things with these. They've made booby traps. They've used them as like slingshots and stuff like that. They do the little jump rope thing. I think maybe I can get it going here on camera here. I don't know if you can hear that or not. Yeah, they love making that noise with these. Anyway, there's a lot of different things they can use their imagination with these toys, these foam noodles. And besides the noise I just made, they're super, super quiet. So that's a great thing to have on hand. Similar to like magnetic sand or anything like that that's really quiet. The only problem with magnetic sand that we've experienced is it's really messy and it gets everywhere and it's not a good thing to pack with you when you go on field trips and that type of thing. So anyway, that's one. The next one I want to point out, and a lot of you know this one, is these little poppers that you can get. Now, we like the ones that they can take to school. Alistair has this little bag that has the poppers built into it. So it's a little pencil eraser bag where he can carry his school supplies, but he can also sit there and fidget with it and stuff like that. So I'm sure a lot of you have seen these. This one is a popsicle, but these are really handy to have. A lot of people on the spectrum love these. Next thing on the list is these little magnetic drawing boards. Now this one is Connor's. I actually got this for him in Mall of America. We went on a little father-son trip up to Minnesota, and this is what he gravitated towards. And he's been playing with this thing ever since, and Alistair and Ian. They all love playing with this thing. Great thing is it's quiet relatively, and you have an unlimited supply of art. So you can sit there and draw. And again, I know a lot of you have seen this, but particularly for people on the spectrum, it's really great because they're very creative and you have an unlimited supply of drawing. And when you pack crayons and you have all this art equipment and stuff, it can be really difficult to bring all that stuff with you when you're out and about. And this you can just bring with you in the car. In fact, when we were driving cross country, he was using this nonstop, and it even replaced his iPad for most of the trip. Just really nice to have. The next thing on this list is a bit of a wild card. And I say that because all of the toys so far we've showed you help your kids get quiet, maybe get collected, maybe they're wanting to calm down from a potential meltdown. And those toys are good for that kind of a thing. This next toy is basically any toy that has lights and sounds and something that they can stim to. A lot of times people think, especially people who don't know about autism, think that a lot of people on the spectrum try to avoid sensory input. They try to avoid flashing lights, they try to avoid loud sounds, and for the most part that's true, but sometimes it's just the opposite. They crave sensory input. So basically any toy, and I believe this is some kind of a transformer light up toy that Alistair's cousin has, but basically these provide a lot of good sensory input for them, and as you can see, Alistair is stimming to the lights and the sound, so he really, really loved this toy. And this is a bit of a catch-22, but yeah, we got a fire truck for Ian one year and it did the same thing. It had the light up lights and the sounds and everything like that. And we just got so tired of it after a while as parents. So factor that in. Like, are you the type of person who can handle all the loud noises? Maybe you have a basement where the kids can make all that loud noise and it won't bother you. That's just something to consider. But also just bear in mind that a lot of people on the spectrum crave that sensory input. So don't leave that out. And so I'm just gonna say that these are you know, light and sound toys and just put it into that category. All right, the last thing on the list, and this might be a little controversial for some parents, but basically an iPad, their favorite iPad app, or, you know, whatever, tablet, Kindle Fire, whatever you want to call it, whatever device you have, Android or otherwise. Generally, someone on the spectrum will have a favorite app. And I don't just mean the apps that help them communicate or the apps that help them learn, but one that they just get lost in. And for our kids, it's one called Flight Space Simulator, I believe is what it's called. And it's an app where they can just get lost in building spaceships and space stations and things like that. They absolutely love it. Both Connor and Alistair, they've been playing it for well over a year now, and they're not tired of it. And we can always rely on that app. Say we're in the car and they start getting a little rowdy, or maybe we have a lot of errands to do, or maybe they're just really upset one day when they come home from school because they were stressed out. We can get them on the app and immediately they're in their happy place. So that is something to consider. And I say it's controversial for some parents because some parents just don't like their kids to be on tablets all the time and stuff like that. I totally get that, which is why we are showing other toys. But it is a really good get out of jail free card, if you want to call it that, when your kid's having a really hard time. So yeah, if you can afford it, an iPad with a really good foam case, because they will beat the heck out of this thing, great thing to have on hand. So yeah, that's the list. I'm sure you guys have plenty of other ideas. Leave comments and let us know what your favorite toys are, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.